Now we'll try this thing. Because we haven't added enough weirdness to this whole game. All right. I'm getting... Yeah, there we go.
That would be anything.
It's the fan. It's always the fan.
It is way too hot today.
I understand. I really do understand. All
I
right.
agree.
When we last had...
Says the girl who spent all day outside.
When I...
Quiet.
When we had last peeked over the shoulders of our erstwhile adventurers, we had just neared the peak of the mountain, and we had gotten our first solid look under what passes for daylight up here at this area that Zeke had shown us. And actually, I'm just going to move everybody over to this picture. This is a nighttime shot, but it should convey some of the idea.
Dude, atmospheric.
Indeed. Indeed. I like how I accidentally managed to put the moon inside of the W on Dungeon World. That was accidental but lovely on my part.
Excellent.
So that's actually quite far away considering when you look at the map itself and where we are on it. You guys are basically right about here. And if for some reason it won't let me ping, Oh, let me ping? Yeah, you're right about there. Immediately to your right, because you're facing sort of south on this map, is this large boreal tree. I'll turn down the ambient noise a bit. Where is that large boreal tree? There we go. Did I show that to you guys already? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. If so, I will now. Lovely old critter.
Nice.
Yes, isn't it? It's just all...
Reminds me of your American Gods.
Haven't started watching that yet. I'm excited. What did I do there? All right. Hundreds of gravestones. A couple of sort of crude, what probably might have been like huts, but really they're mausoleums now because they got turned to stone. There's a few very crude statues. A thick mist, even during the day, sort of cloaking the area. Really, you're just standing amidst the clouds for all intents and purposes, so you've got a bad mist here. It mutes the colors down. So even though technically it's daytime, it's still kind of this sort of gray.
Quick question.
Say that again?
Is the tree also made out of stone?
It is not, interestingly enough, made out of stone. It is, or at least not as near as you can tell, but it you know, from a distance. But walking up to it, you can kind of... What are you doing? Hang on one second. I have to deal with the halfling.
What?
Feed it food. That always helps.
Never helps.
Pipeweed. I recommend pipeweed.
I don't know. Food helps with this halfling.
My cute little hobbit.
Mm.
You rather I talk about your father?
Yeah.
The ogre?
Yeah.
The two littler kids are doing a sleepover. Sleeping in the
Oh
same room.
yeah. They
Yeah.
were trying to convince me to do that the other day.
Yeah. They're doing a sleepover, which you would think would have the amount of effort required to get them to go to sleep. It actually quintuples it. It doesn't double it. That would be simple. It's some sort of strange mathematical structure. So no, Bill, or rather Basler, the tree is not in fact stone, which would imply it's not dead, although it's a good couple long hours march. I mean, it sure as hell looks dead, but it's not stone.
So wait,
It's well above the tree line. But it's here.
only dead things turn to stone?
Dead wood.
Okay, so if you brought to a tiny little sproutling, it would not turn to stone?
Well, it would soon, because theoretically...
We're basing this on what Zeke told us.
Yeah. It should, I mean,
True.
if it were not dead, it would not turn to stone. It would, however, die pretty quickly, or it should, because you're well above the tree line on this mountain. So the fact that there's even a tree up here to be dead is weird, unless the tree line shifted at some point.
Can we not contemplate the creepy hanging tree?
Yeah. Also, noose hanging off of it. I mean, it looks like a caricature, it's like a sculpture done by a caricaturist with a hatred of trees, who just has grown up their entire lives thinking trees were kind of creepy.
They've never seen a tree. They just always had a desire to see a tree.
Yeah, or a desire to make people.
Are the large white marks on the?
No, that's me blanking out.
Aren't those the graves?
Oh,
Okay.
The big.
I wanted to figure out if those were huge mausoleums or
the white square right next to the tree and the one over by the
particularly thick patches of mist.
Yeah, particularly thick patches of mist where the GM was blanking out this is where the death trap is, things like that.
Dig for treasure here. Yeah.
Well, as a handout, this thing leaves something to be desired, because it's a player's handout with a crap ton of really out of character information all over it. So I'm and I didn't particularly feel like doing a lot of Photoshop stuff, so I just blanked it and killed it. That's how I roll. So yeah, that is an interesting thing to notice for sure. The rest of the squares that you're seeing on the map that look a little bit more like they're actually supposed to be on the map are in fact, markers, mausoleums, things like that. Not necessarily to scale, but give you an idea of how heavily scattered it is.
Yourself for a second and see something.
Oh God. Oh God.
Uh-oh.
I'm hearing your breathing.
I don't think you are. I've got maybe this ambient noise. Hang on for a second, Margie. Let's see if that's what you're hearing.
No, it was Dave.
Oh, was it? I wasn't hearing it. All right.
You're very
Now I'm hearing it. Now I'm hearing
Knock
it.
it off, Darth Vader ripoff.
You can. That's not even the Darth Vader ripoff. Okay, so. And in the distance, if you scroll down the map a bit, of course, you can see sort of a winding path down through this, and then the cabin in the far distance. Yet another kind of straggly tree over there. And I think maybe I've got a picture for that too. What do you guys do? Tiana, what do you do? Ask somebody specific.
I'm going to start initially by. I think we looked at some of the gravestones already to see sort of what was on them.
Yeah, and you certainly can if you wander over. I mean, there's certainly ones close enough. The ones closer to you seem fresher. The cuts are a little bit sharper, easier to read. They're certainly seem to be names Well, it's an interesting mix because it's a mix of what you would think of as sort of local names and names that sound a lot more like they come from your part of the world.
Right.
So, and he doesn't necessarily, if you're assuming Zeke did this, he does not necessarily always get the proper diacritical marks around the names correctly, but he does, he does his best, I guess. So yeah, it does seem to be a couple names here. And Ash, you're looking at this, and you're actually getting this weird. What was the name? Hey, Dave, can you look at your notes that you put up so helpfully for the name of that person that he had like written on the one he was currently carving when you guys came up to the cabin? It was like Margaret.
Oh, yeah, it was Marianne, Martha.
Some M name.
Maribel Walker.
Maribel Walker. So you obviously don't see that because he was still carving that one. And you were recalling like his list that he had up there, Ash, of that kind of had your previous companions' names there, but they were kind of off to the side and like question marks. And in the most recent gravestones, do you see any names that you recognize? He hadn't made any X's next to any names or anything, so.
I probably would if I was actually trying, like if I actually went over to look at them.
Are you pointedly not looking?
I think I'm pointedly not looking, and it's more like, does anyone want me to look at the weird tree?
Are you looking at the weird tree?
I could look at the weird tree.
If it means not looking at the gravestones, you'll look at the weird tree?
I think it may mean that.
That's a really sad lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I was mostly, hinting at somebody to ask me to examine something.
Oh, I see.
Hinting.
I see.
I was actually about to ask this question, but you just kept going, so I held off.
Oh.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Has Ash betrayed any seeming familiarity with the situation that would make us think he's been here before?
I feel as though he has, but let's let Mike answer that. I feel as though he's been dropping more than a few muttered things to imply that he's experienced this before.
Yes, he's probably, like started pointing at something and just sort of been like, oh, look at that weird building over there. Huh, this tree. Let's take a look at this tree.
Because that definitely would have led Bassler to start asking, like, hey, what can you tell us about this place? Hey, what's the deal with the tree?
Yeah. I don't think he'd necessarily go into oh, by the way, I'm caught in a Groundhog Day like hell loop. But he could certainly say, I'm familiar with the area.
I've heard many a thing about this place. It's a very dark, cursed place. I'm glad to have people I can trust around me for this.
How has it changed since you were here last time?
Well, there's a couple of more gravestones.
Not ours, I hope.
Honey.
I hope not either.
You do not recognize any of the names, and they're not on Zeke's list. He probably does them in batches of like 50 or 100 or something like that and brings them up. So he's not, the ones on the list that he had down there at the hut weren't the ones that aren't any of the ones that are up here. This is a new thing. How did you, Basler, while you were looking at the tree and kind of like walk, how do you glean if you're looking at it going, that doesn't look like stone, how do you verify that it's not?
I'll bung a rock at it.
Just kind of, and it definitely doesn't sound, it definitely gives you the sound of, it sounds like a dead tree. Like throwing a rock against a dead tree. Why you would know what that is, I mean, I don't know. You were a kid at some point in time. Definitely doesn't sound like rock on rock at all. So
I am pretty certain that in the lay of the creepy cenotaphs, I've heard about a place like this.
Oh yeah. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, that there's a place up on a mountaintop with snow and mist and creepy trees and lots of grave markers that may or may not actually be over graves.
Yeah. Skip to the end where nobody dies.
No way, that sounds like where we are.
I don't think that's what. So Dave, tell me what you were rolling.
I was rolling the stories and legends.
Stories and legends.
So on a 7, you will provide me with an answer, but not necessarily a useful or relevant one.
Okay. Stories and legends. When I declare I've heard tell of something or someone important, name the book, story, song I heard learned from. Ask the GM. Anyone question about it?
Oh, anyone question about it? What was the gravest threat that I recall from that story?
On a 7+, the GM will provide the answer. On a 10+, the answer will be more elaborate, providing information immediately useful or relevant. So this may not be immediately useful or relevant, but it will be an answer. The greatest threat was the cult of the Duvan Ku, which was an offspring of.
You want to spell that?
DUVAN hyphen or apostrophe KU, Duvan Ku. I suppose there'd be a click in there somewhere. DUVAN hyphen KU, Duvan Ku. Splinter group, death cult that kind of sprung up out of the worship of the goddess. It's typically attributed to the southern lands, where Tiana would hail from, or at least in that, basic zip code, hemisphere. And you're starting to get hearing that and saying, well, wait, if that's this place, then that means so. Yeah, I mean, basically, they're like when you get cockroaches, like any civilized place where these guys crop up, it's like all hands on deck to try to get them out because they're just basically bad news whenever they show up. They've been rumored. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, if something bad starts happening in a city, people just start, they're like the boogeyman of evil cults that people just sort of bring up. It must be the Duvan Ku, Somebody disappeared. It's probably the Duvan Ku. And they're not joking. It's just, if kids start disappearing, it's probably the Duvan Ku. And they had apparently, this place was, or the place with the cenotaph, this place with the cenotaphs and stuff was attributed to them, and they were trying to. Reports are sketchy. The stories vary. They were trying to resurrect a dead god, or they were trying to birth a new one, or insert horrible bad thing that they could possibly be up to.
Bad idea.
Yeah, generally bad idea. Tiana, that, I mean, the goddess worship is up here, and we've talked about that. It's not the only one. There's certainly more than a few ancient pantheistic religions. The god of iron and rain, and the god of, all the, very hardcore metal gods. That was ostensibly why the Duvan Ku were cast out of your homeland in the first place. They're generally considered to be sort of an offshoot of the goddess, or they sprung up out of that religion, even though they don't really seem to share a lot of the same. That's not quite right. I mean, technically, if you took a section of a religion and they all said, we're going to worship the bad guy. I guess that's an offshoot of the same religion.
Are you talking about like Satanists versus Christians?
Yeah, modern Satanism doesn't really flow that way. But sure, yeah. I mean, if you take somebody and say we're going to, I don't know.
You have it all wrong. The goddess is not the hero of this story.
Yeah, yeah. Or
not the way to eternal life.
Or no, the goddess is still the hero, but we just happen to like the bad guys. It could have gone that way too.
You don't know them the way we do.
Yeah. You don't realize how much power there is to the dark side, and they're just owning the fact that it's bad stuff. So yeah, so Dave, biggest threat here potentially was the home of some sort of god raising evil cult, and if tying that in with this fight that happened previously that happened here, and putting it all kind of together, it's like, wow, that all that put together, maybe so they were maybe coming up here to stop that from happening. Hopefully they succeeded. Maybe we're standing on a god's kneecap here. Who knows?
Right.
Each of the gravestones is for a god.
Bill, I think you can get an XP for kind of going to Mike. It's not technically showing him a complicated thing, but really Ash's whole background is sort of a complicated thing. So, when have you been here last is certainly a fun way to kind of delve into that. I'm honestly scared to click on whatever it is that Catherine's pulling up here. There you go. Yeah.
Actually, did you just increment that XP, or was that?
I did not.
Okay.
I haven't touched anything. Okay, so we've looked at gravestones. We've examined the tree. We've chucked a rock at it.
Respectfully.
Take a closer look at it.
You've respectfully chucked a rock at it?
Yes.
Okay.
In case it's like an angry, evil tree god.
Mike, since you said you're taking a closer look at it, which is to say looking anywhere but at the gravestones, the spot where the rock hits bleeding a little bit.
Well, that's not good.
Just a little bit, like a skinned knee on pavement kind of bleeding. It's like
sort of oozy.
Like a bleeding road rash kind of from the rocks.
Yeah, much concern here.
Do you point that out to anybody, or are you just kind of going to quietly?
That
does seem like concern.
Let me see if I can do something here.
All right. Can you do something? Can I do something? I don't know. Can I do something here?
Basler? That would be like, Basler, do you want to come here and take a look where you hit this thing with the rock?
To answer your strict question, no, I don't.
I'm gonna go.
Basler, man up.
I'll walk over there.
At which point, I will point out the bleeding tree.
Ah!
Basler, right about the time that you kind of step back away from that, and then you're looking at the tree, you look up at the tree, and realize that you've managed to step back so you're standing almost directly underneath the noose.
Ah!
Let the complaining begin.
I don't want to be here, you guys. Look, it's been great. I'll understand if you take back my share.
Now,
listen,
Dave, the other part of that
share
story,
what?
Actually, well, share of what? Now that's interesting. Tiana says share of what? Edward, the answer to that question is the Devon Coup have been widely and like almost universally agreed to be stupidly wealthy. They've killed more people than the Black Death,
Really?
and as a result, have taken all of their stuff. So, if you can find the home of
So you're telling me there's a reason why people keep coming up to this really awful place?
many room. I mean, if you can
Many
find
voluntarily.
the basic
Many
idea is
reasons.
if you can find the home of the Devon Coup, and I'll leave this to Edward to phrase to Basler, but if you can find the home of the Devon Coup, you're basically set up for life. The flip side of that, the unspoken part of that, is that's usually because your life tends to conclude shortly thereafter.
Short.
I'm set up for life. Oh, yes, you are.
I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I'm socially insecure. I am a wealthy miser.
Yep.
So Basler, you shouldn't back down quite so quickly. I mean, if there is that vast Duan Ku treasure here, then even if there's danger, I'm sure there's some way you can get your hands on it.
The tree is bleeding.
Your argument is
Sounds like a
irrelevant. The tree is bleeding.
You thought this was going to be a walk in the park?
No, it's a walk in the graveyard. Give me the bandages. Give me.
You're gonna bandage the tree?
Yes.
That's great.
It's a bleeding tree. That's so cool.
Give me that.
It's in a graveyard and there's a noose on it. Oh, you guys.
Okay, look, this trunk is really, really round. I need a hand. Just hold it right here.
I'm not going
Around.
behind the tree.
Don't.
Wait.
No, don't pin it to the bark. Did you
I'm
not
not-
notice it's bleeding? You can't pin it to the bark.
No, we're not going to pin anything to the bark. We're going to do this.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If there's healing to be done,
You want to
tree that you fool.
Do you want
I'm
to?
trying to
The
apologize.
paladin is
to
going to
the
heal the evil tree. I'm going to
No.
stand back over here,
Why are we not healing the evil tree?
out of its branches reach. But you go for it. This could be a good song.
I want to step back out of the splash.
I'm not
radius.
healing the evil tree.
And
You go into that danger.
no, she's gonna
Brave Sir Robin.
a little. You're doing a little bit of.
I'm
Field,
going to be competent.
are you field dressing?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Just to make everybody happy so we can get on with this and get out of here and be done. And
Moving away from the.
all right,
tree,
who's playing the freaky music?
I would say
that would be.
I would say bless you, but I think it's too late.
the GM is. No, you're not hearing creepy wind music. That's the GM messing with you.
Okay, just was mildly concerned.
I went.
I don't hear anything. I don't know what you're talking about, Catherine.
creepy wind music. All right, so it seems as though a number of you would like to move away from the bleeding tree. So what do you do?
Oh, this is so cool. Why would you want to go
A
away?
number of you would
So-
like to
so
drag
Joyce?
Torwin away from the creepy tree.
Joyce,
Yes?
where do I want to go?
Probably towards the cabin. I mean, that would be where
Well,
the
I have that unfailing
the cabin
sense
then.
of direction.
Absolutely right, the cabin. It's not a logic thing. Their cabin.
We
is
have to
where
go to
you
the cabin.
Yes, definitely the cabin. I like how you keep coming up with different concerns.
I think this is a very concerning situation.
It's a very concerning situation.
Is that a concern for Torwin?
No one's concerned for
no one's
Torwin.
concerned.
Well,
Torwin's fine.
He-
While this is the creepy music is meant to sort of just remind you of the fact that there's that sort of almost nails on a chalkboard kind of whining, almost not quite harmony minor key sound that's just
got it.
coming. Edward, you might be able to even figure out
Tone
where,
that could drive you mad.
you might even be able to figure out where it's coming from. Maybe, like you kind of pan your head back and
I can
forth.
almost
Maybe figure out where.
I don't want to know.
Kind of over that way, maybe.
over that way. Hinge flashing on the map way.
Kind of. Actually, let me check. I want to verify that I am directing you the right direction. I think I am. I think it might be one of those creepy white.
One of those huge rectangular white misty clouds resting upon the mountaintop.
Are you saying?
Yeah.
Are you seeing my ping?
Yes. I'm seeing your horrible death ping.
Death ping.
Oh, now it's turned into a dark, horrible color.
Margie, you need to ping it so it's blood red.
Oh, I like that.
First it's green.
How do I ping it?
You just click and hold on the spot. There you go. It might be where it's coming from.
I'm feeling very courageous right over here.
You're feeling courageous right where you are? You're good. So
yeah, does anybody hear that music or that sound? It's coming from kind of down the path and up the hill a little bit.
Well, no, everybody definitely hears the sound. That is not even a question.
Well, we gotta go that way anyways. Let's get a move on.
All right. So, as you're heading down towards that sort of the path that winds down through these things, you're definitely getting the sense that the sound's coming off to your right. The cabin is also, you guys saw the image that I shared earlier.
The lovely cabin. Mm-hmm.
There's a well, kind of, I think it's on the map, right? Kind of near the cabin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some footprints.
Well,
evil footprints.
You can see the footprints. Your guy, Tiana hasn't actually noticed the footprints yet, but so the well's right there. The cabin's right there. As you get closer, you're pretty sure that wood has definitely petrified, unlike the tree. So sound to the right, well to the left, cabin straight ahead.
Here I am stuck in the middle with you.
Tiana, what do you do?
If we're close to where the sound would be, then the well and the cabin are still down the hill. Down the path,
it's a
right?
little bit further. You're right. The sound comes up quicker. Do you want to drift off to the side there?
Yeah, I actually do.
Right.
It's an interesting sound.
It's a unnerving sound, is what it is. There's almost a.
Well, yes. I don't want to leave it behind me. Let's put it that way.
You're getting a definite sense of. You can almost pick out the melody of it. Melody's kind of.
A vague misnomer.
The melody.
Thank you.
For the longest time, I mean, you're kind of walking around and through this crusty snow and on just the tail edge of some of the markers and stuff. It's hard to nail down the sound because it seems to come from like kind of out of the earth itself.
I'm sorry, what itself?
Kind of out of the earth itself.
It's coming from one of the graves. Go.
No, it's not near one of the. That's the thing is, it's past the edge of the graves. Well, no, it's not. It's not quite. But you're pretty sure it's not coming out of a. And you finally, after probably.
Well, the hidden pit.
Like 5 or almost 10 minutes, kind of stomping around. You break through this crust and actually you hit something harder than ground.
You're breaking up.
Am I? All right. Well, I'm gonna stop.
Just that one time. You were doing good until then.
Am I all right now?
Yep.
All right. You kind of go through the little bit of the crust of the snow, and you're. It's the weirdest, like, surreal moment because you kind of hit, like a sewer grating, and you're on the top of a mountain. You're like, what? It's not a sewer grating, but that's what it immediately feels like. It feels like you're back in the city. You just stepped on a sewer grating, and you kind of, you crack some more. You stomp a little bit more on the stone, break up that crust, and kind of brush it out of the way. Super cold. Your fingers are just numb through whatever gloves you've got on. And it's like some kind. There's a metal grate, kind of just embedded.
A grate over a tunnel or something like that.
Like a shaft.
Or
that like a downward leading shaft. It's cut right into the stone and mounted right into this shaft, into the stone, is this metal grate. And with the snow out of the way, you can hear the sound much more clearly. That's not a good thing for anybody.
You guys, you got to come see this.
And you hear that sound a little bit more.
I'm going to approach Torwin real quick.
Torwin? Okay.
Torwin, you're as you seem like a strong, capable fellow. Are you sworn to defend the weak, the innocent, the helpless? By any chance?
What? Well, yes, but
You are?
do you see that?
Wonderful. I'm going to get behind him and be like, lead the way.
Lead the way, Torwin.
So cool!
He found something. Yes, he did.
Would somebody like me to take a look at that?
I'm going to scuttle behind Torwin and come over there.
Well, Dave, certainly call Ash over.
Ash! You gotta see this too!
Oh, good. Flag.
Yeah. Hit a flag, Dave.
Good job. So
look at this weird thing. This doesn't even make any sense up here.
all right, I'll
Ash,
take a look at
this
that.
looks really, really important.
It's like, kind of like under his breath, be like, never done this up before.
So
Point at it. I say, look! Isn't this great?
yeah.
Speaking of toys,
I don't know what this is. Tell me.
I haven't moved for this.
A great.
You have a move for this? What is the move?
It's let me see that.
All right. What is that? What is?
When you take a few moments to handle or examine something interesting, ask the GM 2 of the following questions.
Okay. So there's a metal grate. It goes down. You probably have like a phosphor or something like that you can get like a. It's not a very long lasting light, but some sort of like a flare kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Something that you could shine down in there. But
Actually, I have a staff for that.
Oh, you have a staff that's like a light staff?
Uh-huh.
How convenient. Okay, why don't you tell me what all you're doing, and then we'll see what.
So I'm just going to take a look at it, kind of see the metal that it's made out of, you said it was built directly into the stone.
It's
Is it
like
even metal?
Sort of. Well, it's metal, but then it's like riveted into the stone or mounted into the stone.
And then
it could probably be pried loose with great effort, but.
And I'm probably gonna light my staff and take a look down there and just be like, how deep does this go?
It's hard to tell. About 10 feet down. So the staff's probably 6 or 7 feet long. You can see about 10 feet down, the whole shaft is choked with this weird, viscous, semi-transparent substance, like
slime.
Slime. Well, I was gonna say like
Mucus.
Like a really cold mucus. That's not a bad. If that's the first thing you
like
think
a giant snail
Giant
trail.
snot.
I was gonna say like still liquid, like hot glue, except freezing cold, because you can actually feel. It actually feels like there's cold coming out of the shaft, and considering where you are, the fact that's whatever's coming.
Boy, this is where we need Aaron. Aaron, what is this?
Aaron.
It looks organic.
So, I guess my first question is, who made this?
Who made this?
Uh-huh.
Well, humans. It's definitely not dwarven work.
Mm-hmm.
You would say, given the fact that the shaft isn't ending at that point, like I said, it's semi-transparent, so you can see the light goes a little bit further. You're not really sure how to guess how much, but it's got to be leading down to some sort of space down below that was. I mean, this part at least was hand cut. This wasn't like. It definitely was not a natural like chimney that somebody just decided to slap a grate on top of. This thing was carved. So who made this? Whoever made whatever else you're standing on top of.
Okay, so nothing identifying other than not Not intricate stonework.
No, skillfully done, but not dwarves. So, but fairly well skilled human craftsmen, I would say.
All right.
People.
I guess the other question is, what has most recently been done to this?
You notice that although Dave was able to get Edward was able to get most of the like crusted snow sort of off and away from the thing is still coated with ice that's so hard and clear. It's almost like the whole thing's been kind of coated in glass. It's the grating is got like this, like about a half a finger's width of ice coating it, and it's kind of coating it all the way down the shaft of the thing. So
is the flow of the ice going down or coming up?
It's not so much a flow as is
I mean, is it thicker the farther down you go?
No, it's the same. It's actually weirdly
consistent.
It's weird, not just consistent, but weirdly uniform.
Well, that's not good.
So,
concern.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to visualize the ice that's flowing versus the snot that's covering things.
So it's honestly, it's really hard to visually spot it because you're looking down at this stuff and it's like, is that more of did it just freeze? And like, no, that's not. That's wet. And this is definitely hard, and that's. I don't think that it's hard to tell from where you are. It does look somewhat similar. The ice parts are really more like glass, and you can see that this other thing is more cloudy, more organic. I mean, every analogy that we've come up with to describe the thing has been more organic, and the ice is. I mean, it's practically glass. The ice is.
So the ice looks more manufactured almost, whereas
or is there something was carving it as well?
Yeah, something. I mean, it's almost like a clear shellacking of ice.
So, Deanna, I'll give you 3 options here after taking a look at this. We can just cover this up and pretend we never saw it, which I'm going to guess is Basler's suggestion here.
Preferred.
Basler nodding emphatically from 25 feet away.
I could fire a flare down there, and we could maybe get a better look of what's down there. But I have no idea how that gunk is going to react to it. Or 3, we could open it up. I could get down there easily enough. I don't know about anyone else.
I think I would rather. I would rather continue on to the cabin.
Option 1 it is.
Yep.
The cabin can't possibly be as creepy as this.
I mean, you can set up something that if something comes out of there, it makes a noise. But
Actually, I could do that.
I'm very anxious to explore the cabin.
Yes.
Well, I mean, is there any sort of a latch or lock or something like that?
No, it looks as though the shaft was. Why don't you give
Does
me?
it look like a ventilation shaft versus an entrance or exit?
Why don't you give me a discern realities?
And that would be an intelligence?
Yes. In this case, yes. I don't know what it is normally, but in this case, I'm saying yes. Ooh.
There's something down there! Oh my god!
This is the dumbest. This is in Edward's estimation. This is the dumbest escape hatch he could possibly imagine. It's completely idiotic because this top latch, the top hatch, doesn't have any way of releasing it, and there's no handholds or ladder rungs or anything down the side of it. And it's clearly what it is, but it's terrible.
If this is the creepy cultists have to throw at us, we're in good shape.
This would be like trying to escape out of a chimney. It doesn't even make any sense. It's dumb that they would build it this way. And yeah, he's got it so entrenched in his head that that's what must be what it is, that he's not maybe hearing what else he's also saying.
All right, Tiana, do you want me to rig it with an alarm?
Actually, while you're thinking about that, Dave, you kind of say that, and everyone's just like, you finally, Dave, get the melody. You catch it. You finally get the thread of it.
I can name that tune
And you-
in 15,000 notes.
And without even thinking about it, you just whistle it.
Oh,
And whatever is making that noise, actually, you kind of see that viscous stuff down there, kind of, and it
perk
intensifies.
up.
No, not perk up, but like vibrate like a speaker front, like the drum, the speaker drum.
Like a woofer?
Like in time with
It vibrates
music.
It vibrates visibly, and the sound intensifies. That is not a pleasant thing.
Somebody body check Edward, please.
Stop that! Does anybody body check Edward when he does this thing completely thoughtlessly?
Yes.
Okay. Tiana.
I'll just whack him upside the head.
Stop that!
What were you thinking?
Hey, look, it's response. Ow!
That was amazing. That was, yeah. It was
You were
communicating. Yes, well, and it was really interesting. So what is the tune? Do I know the tune?
You definitely don't know the tune. You just kind of figured out the thread of it.
I've just figured out the tune.
You figured out
the tune.
With the tune.
You could totally play that again on the instrument of your choice. Ash, you are absolutely unsure one way or the other as to whether or not that goo got any closer just now. You have no idea.
Okay, so I'm not waiting for Deanna now. I am going to alarm the thing.
All right, yeah. So you set up a little, like, if this hatch moves, it's gonna set off what's the alarm like? Like a bell or a?
It's
I figure I'll probably
foghorn.
I probably have like a little crystal.
Let him answer. Let him answer. Like
I figure I have like a little crystal with me and some of my alchemical things, and
Sure.
I'm just gonna set it up so that it pulsates if something opens the grate.
Okay, you want it to be far enough away. Can it be like the kind of shriek that you get from like a loud firework? Like
Yeah, sure.
The noisemaker part of that.
Well, I actually my plan was to carry the crystal with me.
Oh, I see that. Okay, yes, absolutely. That's fine too. Absolutely,
I'm gonna go ahead and jury rig that up.
not a problem.
So this will explode when someone comes out, right?
Oh, I wish.
That's really.
I wish.
That's really not. Basilar seems particularly disappointed in that answer.
All right, so 8+, it works, but I get to choose one. Doyce, I'll make this the best one for you.
All right.
It works, but there's a weird quirk or complication to it. You can decide at your leisure.
Awesome. I will certainly decide at my leisure. That may be a couple of game sessions worth of leisure, but I'm gonna
Just make a note.
Yep. That's all.
I thought this was only supposed to last like 2 or 3.
Hush you.
Oh, we'll see. All right, onward to the
So young, so naive.
onward to the cabin. Onward to the cabin.
Please.
Is that the idea? All right. Right. So I will note as you're approaching the cabin, off to the side, you've got the well. From what you can see, just at the distance, the windlass and the bucket have both been petrified. You're pretty sure it probably still works, but it would be a real pain to crank. Anybody?
Well, there would need to be some sort of rope, and presumably that would be organic and therefore would also petrify.
The windlass. Well, so the windlass is stone. The bucket is stone. The rope appears to be rope, as much as you can see.
Did we notice if the rope on the tree looked like rope?
Yes, that's rope.
Oh, that's true.
The rope is rope.
Okay.
The rope was.
Did anybody throw a rock at it?
Does it bleed?
I don't hear anybody immediately.
That's a good idea. I should go do that.
Back there and do that.
Torwin. Okay, so Torwin, you whip a rock at it. This is the Pippin took moment. You whip a rock at it and hit that bucket just dead on, and the bucket it just teeters, it doesn't even teeter, it just kind of tips and hangs on the edge of that well. This is when you realize it's stone, because when it goes fast, like, and you hear it splash. It hits water probably.
I hope that's water.
I'm gonna say about.
Do you feel like it's water or
probably about 30.
viscous snotty liquid?
It hits something and splashes about 50 feet down. I'm gonna say about 50 feet down. 50 feet down or so, give or take. Hey, Ash. Why don't you roll me intelligence for me, please?
Okay. I'm marking XP.
All right. Nothing particularly unusual here.
Yep.
So yeah,
But I'm still going to like. Oh my goodness.
You and Edward are getting along just fine.
Torwin, that's super cool. You just knocked that bucket right down in there.
Good job, Torwin.
Now you can pull water right back out. Easy peasy. I mean, the bucket's probably pretty heavy, but you're really strong. What do you do, Torwin? You gonna crank the bucket back up out of there? You were lectured.
Certainly be a prodigious, even legendary test of strength.
You were lectured a number of times about not leaving buckets down the well because it'll rot the rope. It's bad for it.
Yeah, I probably bring it back up.
It does have water in it. It's not frozen,
Let's not touch that.
Water that we want to ingest.
It's got clear, unmucusy looking water in it. It's clear as a bell. It is not frozen, which is weird, and doesn't seem inclined to freeze, which is weird. It's not like suddenly crystallizing over when you get it up there. Nor does the bucket freeze to the side of the well when you set it there, and it seems like you would freeze to the side of the well if you sat down. So that's. But you don't seem inclined to drink it either. You just want to leave it here and move on. Tiana, have you already proceeded to the cabin? Just like, I'm done with this weirdness. Just get me to the cabin. All right. Cabin, also petrified. Shabby, bit bizarre. The roof seems to sag beneath the weight of the snow, but at the same time, it had to have been sagging a long time ago and then like petrified in that sagging state. Because as you know, as far as you're aware, stone doesn't generally sag.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And you had the picture up. The walls, the outside walls of the cabin have been like carved. I don't want to lay too much. Carved in a whittling sense, not a, bas relief sense. With tiny, just neurotically minute calligraphic and what's the
runes?
No. Oh God. Seriously?
Unspeakable figures.
Well, a mixture of like calligraphic characters and good God.
Hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphs. Thank you. Gee, Christmas, my brain. Or super stylized hieroglyphs. Sort of like. I don't know if you can read this or not, because you're Merc background, but some religious training, and this is kind of like going, well, I speak Italian and this is Latin, so I should be able to read it, right? Except maybe not. I don't know. It certainly looks like some derivation or ancient version of like language, like a written language of your homeland.
Ooh.
Okay. Can I take a stab at it?
What did? Yes, you can. And Ash, what did you say?
I was about to say that sounds like maybe a discern realities for her.
Yes. Why don't you give me discern realities is intelligence based? Yes. Did I get that right? I think it is.
Actually, it's wisdom.
Sure.
Is it wisdom?
Sure. It can't be charisma based.
It's not charisma based.
Talk to me, baby.
Discern realities. Yeah. Roll wisdom. I think. Kind of weird, but but we'll try it with wisdom. See where we go. Nope. I mean, you recognize it. You definitely recognize it, but you're not seeing any real phrases like.
Mark that XP.
That makes sense.
Yeah, mark that XP. You're seeing like occasionally like, well, that's the character for 7, and that's the character for 5th.
Bicycle.
5.
So, like me reading Japanese with my knowledge, basic knowledge of Chinese.
Yeah. Or whatever kanji you picked up watching a lot of anime.
Well, I can determine these are symbols.
Yes. You see a couple of symbols. There's a lot of repetition of a character for God. Maybe some stuff that's proper names. Actually,
Any symbols for the goddess?
Basler, could you give me a discern realities? If you're looking, are you looking at this at all? This creepy, scrawled, like, notebooks from the movie 7 covering on the outside of this building? Did we lose Basler? Oh, there. Oh, yes. So, because you're from that same, I'm going with the previous quartermaster from that same area of the thing. And also shady background. You really can't read any of this, but you do see a couple of recurring symbols that you have learned mean certain things. Again, I'm going to jump back to the palace job where the one guy who always makes the joke, like he always taunts everybody with jokes about your mother. And there's a spot in there where he runs into these ancient spirits from like several thousand years in the past, and he knows how to insult their, like he knows it in every language. Basler recognizes, I mean, you don't know if it means resting in splendor or gracing this place in death with all of the things that they learned. What it translates to you is important people were buried here with lots of their stuff.
That's normally what tomb robbers will look for, so yes.
Exactly. You identify like that section right there means buried with stuff. And so you may not know what the hell else this thing has got on it, but it certainly got that. All right. So there's numbers, there's gods, and buried here with stuff.
What should I be on the lookout for?
What should you be on the lookout for? Places that have these kinds of promises also tend to have stuff that will kill you. Traps, poisons.
That doesn't sound at all surprising.
Poisons that only become more virulent the longer they're left alone. Mummy curses. Love potions. Can be horrible depending on that. You brought something back from the desert, didn't you, Benny? I say that so often. It's not even funny. Okay. I'm
going to start keeping an eye out for traps,
all right,
poisons, pits.
Where are you starting with that? Because Tiana's approaching the front door.
I would like to start back in town, but I don't think that's an option. So I'll try to ward Tiana off and be like, wait, no, don't do that.
Right.
No,
just a quick. Now the front door is petrified.
I'm petrified. What?
Am I made of wood? What a strange coincidence. So, but it doesn't actually take very long to notice what's up with the door. It's not trapped, but the hinges for this front door have
frozen.
Well, no, they're rotted. They're rotted through, and they're not there anymore. So the door is basically just sitting unattached in its frame. It would just like basically slam in and drop on the floor if you tried to open it like normal. So it's just actually just, can you kind of pick this up and move it or something? He quickly points that out.
I mean, I can just push it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of maneuvering to push it. So you kind of lean it half in, half out of the doorway, kind of lean it up against the frame a little bit.
Okay.
Easy enough to do. Who's first through the door? Wait, let me get the map.
Go fish.
I am.
This is so cool.
Torwin is apparently second. Surprising
A
no one.
close second.
All right, I'm gonna pull up a.
I'm carrying myself such that I'm blocking the doorway, so Torwin doesn't try and squeeze past me in some foolish ploy.
I will be in the back humming that tune.
No, you will not.
humming that tune. That's great. No, it's not that. All right.
I don't know. I feel it fits pretty well.
I'm just gonna drop it right here. All right.
So Dazzler, are you kicking his butt? Of course, I figured you were at the back too.
If he keeps up, I will. I'll have words.
Oh, I can just see it. Words and words.
Words like "don't," "please," and "I'm begging you."
Those are good words.
And then how much to stop?
I will try to restrain myself.
Okay, maybe
there is no try. There is only do.
Maybe there's another tune that you can sing. Something that brings out your natural vocal qualities better. Something to brighten the spirits and lift moods.
It's the holly jolly Christmas time of the year.
Now we're back to It's a Small World. So, all right,
you're welcome.
And blink. How's that? Can you guys see the?
Yes.
All right.
What?
Cabin.
Oh.
Map.
That's concerning.
All right. And then while we're doing that, we'll just turn this thing on here.
Oh, look, they have a piano. Just for you, Edward.
It's not a piano.
Oh, harpsichord. Nice. Appropriately creepy.
Whoa, what's playing that? You guys,
Edward,
we have to go see.
Do not accompany the harpsichordist. Whatever you do.
I'll turn that down just a skosh. Because you can faintly hear this somewhere else in the building as you step in the front door there. There's a ticking.
You guys, we have to go see what's playing.
This clock.
Okay. Okay. Largest room you guys step in. The main room is the largest. Well, certainly a big room. There's 3 chairs. There's one sort of sitting at the desk. I will ping as appropriate. One moment. You got the one chair at the desk. You got 2 that are kind of over here.
You're breaking up those.
Am I? Probably from the music.
Or not on my end.
All right. Well, that might be a problem with. Okay. They're all 3 of them angled in such a way as to be facing the door. On the desk, there's a book, probably the size of a human torso in thickness. It is big.
The Book of the Name.
Certainly probably the one that Zeke was talking about.
Lucy, what's it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a fireplace with a
trapdoor.
I can't imagine what the hell you'd burn in it at this point, but there is a fireplace there, and there's a stag's head mounted over the fireplace. It is. Do I have a picture of that? I think I might have a picture.
Is it stone?
The stag's head? No, it is not stone. It is. There we go. Yeah, I do have that. Look at that.
We did. There is creepy noises.
What? Creepy noises? I don't hear anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Stag's head.
Why is everything in this place so freaky?
Because it was owned by a
evil
cult.
mountaintop.
Again, owned by weird ancient death cult.
Why does it have to be creepy? Why can't it be
As a challenge for the greatest of heroes.
They're rich.
Are you up to that challenge?
Well, they're not here.
They're rich.
Windows.
They should have better taste.
So
Now, come on, you should know that rich people don't necessarily have taste.
So
look at Trump.
Window here. We're not doing politics. Window here. Weirdly and unbelievably intact. And then right over here a big clock. That's the ticking that you're hearing. Sort of cathedral-like it's like a tall clock, sort of cathedral-like in its stylization and that sort of thing. And as Tiana noticed, a big trapdoor, dead center middle of the room, a good 5 feet across, with a heavy-ass chain slung through a number of metal rings back and forth across the thing and padlocked, so on and so forth. Like
Probably used to the rumpus room downstairs.
Yeah,
Wet bar, big screen TV.
Sure. Yes. I think that's likely.
All right, quick little heads up, everybody. I don't care what the hell anybody does here. No one touched that damn clock.
So you have been here before.
I'm going over and looking at the clock more carefully. So it's actually sitting there running, right?
Yes, it is running. It currently reads
2 minutes to midnight.
11:44, which probably isn't right.
Hey, Edward, why don't you fix the time on that since you're taking a look at it? It's about 1:15 noon.
I give him a look.
What kind of look do you give him? Is it a Torwin kind of look, or is it you actually have some common sense of self-preservation kind of look?
Really? Do I look like Torwin? Torwin says, "Hey."
I will work.
Fascinated by the trap door.
Who's fascinated by the
trap door? Has anybody told Torwin not to open up the trap door?
Trap door is padlocked with a big padlock on it.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, big heavy chains, big padlock.
So where do I want to go?
It's kind of down, probably.
Of course.
It's a little. Actually, your quest is for answers, so you're actually getting a couple of conflicting, not conflicting, but multiple answers to that. Further into the house, down the trapdoor, so on and so forth.
What about the book?
The book could is kind of like I would say a second or third tier answer to your quest or potential information kind of thing. So yeah. Tiana, what do you do? I'll ask you first, and we'll kind of move around a little bit.
I really don't want us splitting up.
Well, the book's right in this room. You can just go and look.
Right.
At
So if people are in the main room, I'll probably look at the book.
All right.
But for some reason, I don't want to turn my back to the scary deer head in pain.
The harpsichord music is sort of vaguely coming from the direction of another potential answer. So just FYI, I'm giving you that. You don't want to turn your back on the what?
The scary screaming deer.
Oh, the moose. Well, no, it's not. Well, yeah, it's not screaming at the moment. Its mouth is open.
At the moment?
Seems angry. You like at the moment? Like that little addition there?
I don't want to turn my back to the scary wall fixture.
Right.
How's that?
So you can turn the book slightly. It is quite heavy. Thick as a torso. Smooth leather.
What's on the first page?
Smooth leather binding. First page. cover's got some
Dave.
more of that ancient script on it. The first page is also entirely like some ancient script. You think it might be the same script as the one on the cover. You're guessing names. There's dates also, in theory. The first page is basically gibberish. I mean, you're not entirely sure even like
Right.
like
Is this a list or
is
not?
it a list? Is it a what? You flipping through, you can do some more. I mean, you can sort of see, you start to see some, depending on where you look in the book, you can see more numbers. But this thing is thick. I mean, it's like unabridged, gigantic Webster's Dictionary thick, but even thicker.
Right. It is Italian wedding registrar book big.
Sure.
In duplicate.
So some of the names are in pictographs, maybe paper version of cuneiform.
Okay.
Further back you go,
So
you're more likely
what you're
to
saying
run
is this goes way back.
Well, the start is the old stuff. So when you flip more towards the end, there's quite a few pages at the end that are blank. The last page that you see, the last few 100 names in the book have a red fingerprint next to each of them, like a thumbprint. Guessing maybe Zeke.
Okay.
Well, like Zeke tallying things up.
Marked off that he, yeah.
Yeah, got the names. You see that, what was it, Maribel Watson, Wilson, in there near the end. There are, I mean, well, who wants to take a step? I mean, you can discern realities around this. Anybody can take a stab at like figuring out what the heck is this thing's even, because the numbering system isn't all consistent. The lettering isn't consistent. The ink isn't consistent. It looks like it's been rebound a number of times to get more pages in.
And I have a guess, but I probably as a character would need to do that kind of discernment roll to.
Probably with
Yeah.
discern roll, or a special sort of history.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a Book of the Dead, but
something.
Mhm.
I mean, how old is this cult? I mean, because I just know about this most recent departure.
Yeah.
When they moved here. I didn't know about something before that, but this writing looks like it's a lot older than that.
A lot of it does, yeah. Why don't you give me a discern realities? Again, it's a wisdom thing.
Because I'm so good at that.
Nobody.
No, no, that's fine.
And Dave, you might be able to do like a stories and legends thing.
Sure.
Or
I've heard tell of a book like this.
well,
Wait, look, I'm so consistent.
wow, holy cats! Well, you're learning. You're certainly learning. Have some XP. I
can take a look at it.
I'm pretty certain.
Call Ash over
that
get XP, Dave. But anyway,
or references.
Yeah, Ash. Can you read this?
I'll take a quick look at it.
What'd you get, Dave? A 9? Okay. I'll give you some.
Yeah.
Figure out the question you want answered, and then Mike, why don't you give me a study of it?
All right, I'll go ahead. I'll take a look through it. So, just reading through it and just sort of paging through it and everything. I guess the first.
Watch out! Don't get a paper cut.
I guess, Margie, what does Tiana want to learn? I guess that's the first question here.
I want to learn anything that's not just a name of a dead person. How's that?
Okay.
Because you're able to find names not names that you recognize, but names of your people. They're back in that area, and before that area where the red thumbprints are at. And actually even several dozen pages back that way, there's even, it seems as though it's almost exclusively names that are more from your area of the world. And then it sort of gets more dispersed in like the newer pages. But so more than just the names, like what can you figure out by? Okay.
So I guess
Yeah,
who
I mean,
made
even
this?
if it's just like, what is the cover? What does it say on the cover?
Okay. So what do you need to? What are you rolling, Mike?
I don't have to roll for this.
Oh, you
I
don't
just
have to.
I just have to take time to examine.
Okay. What's the move? I want to.
Let me see this,
Let me see this.
or let me see that.
Let me see that. I want to look at it. Let me see that. When you take a few moments to handle or examine something interesting, ask the GM 2 of the following questions. The GM must answer truthfully. All right. What is wrong with this? Okay.
Everything.
I was about to say that's probably going to be one of my.
All right. What do you what? So is that the first question?
Yeah, who made this?
What does this do? It probably. Oh, who made this? Okay. Well, you're guessing that this is. Well, you're not guessing. Based on a little bit of translation, and there's certain phrases that tend to repeat every 20 or 30 pages. It's definitely a tally of the Duvan coup in some way, shape, or form. It's. If you were going to guess, this is a list of their sacrifices. I don't know why there's a phone ringing, so I'm gonna shut off that sound.
That's kind of what I was starting to think.
It's like a tally, and based on what you're able to like see in there, this is thousands of years of tallying. You stop counting calendars that are being used when you break 50. Like it's up to like 50 some odd different numbering systems of dates, let alone names, as you start from the beginning and work your way forward. It's you're not anywhere near the back of the book when you stop saying, you know what, screw it, I don't care. It's ridiculous. The book probably hasn't been in continuous use. I mean, based on the pages and some of the aging and stuff like that, there's some gaps that range for like a few years gaps where there's nothing recorded, to one gap that you're pretty sure represents 1,000 years where nobody was writing anything down. It's not that the pages are blank; it wasn't in use or something. You're not even sure some of these names are really even pronounceable with human tongues. I mean, trying to figure out the phonetics of it is just weird. But I mean, if you had to take a shot in the dark, it's, at least 5,000 or 6,000 years old, maybe more.
All right.
I mean, by those numbers, Margie, the thing predates the current, actually the last 2 dynasties in your homeland. So,
what is the? Is there a known founding date for the goddess's worship?
Not. I mean that.
I'm thinking so Christianity starts in.
Sure. Like this far
2,000 years ago or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, as far as your people civilization goes, when as long as your people have been a people, she's been
the goddess.
Goddess, a going concern. Maybe not the only goddess. There's been certainly a couple times where she's had to deal with upstarts, and that's been sort of rolled into the stories and stuff. But there's couple indications based on the names that there's dates that are simultaneous, but names that are like from different parts of the world and on different pages. So like some of the dates repeat.
Maybe compiled from
multiple offshoots of the cult or something brought together in one place.
Field reports.
Yeah, these are all the people that we killed while we were in the city-state of Petrana.
So it's kind of weird just to have a list of sacrifices. So I will ask, what does this do?
From a historical point, well, it's you're not 100% sure, but the front cover, the current front cover, might say something along the lines of like our gifts or holy gifts or something like that. Something along those lines. I mean, offerings, sure. So it may be their tally of the total offerings that have ever been, like they're only counting lives.
So it's sort of like the Mormons keeping track of everybody who's been baptized.
Sure, except in this case, it's everybody.
Etc.
In this case, what they're tracking is everybody who's ever been killed in the name of the cult, because they're trying to hit like their quota. Yeah. So what does this do? Who knows? They're counting coup until they get to their 1 millionth customer.
The magic number.
Yeah.
So I'm not feeling like any magic emanating from this or anything like that.
No, absolutely. This is an absolutely if there's any magic that's been used on this, it's been in the way of like preserving it.
I'd like to make a note of taking this away from here and possibly doing something violent to it.
Okay.
I would not be opposed to that.
All in favor
Go
of
ahead.
All in favor of taking this book someplace where we can burn it? Okay. You're pretty sure, Dave, when you were looking at the clock, it's probably a water clock.
Okay.
Just so you know. So yeah, you guys are looking at this. A lot of puzzling and that sort of thing. And while you were doing that,
I should have a question still for the book.
Go ahead. Question for the book.
Well, you gave us so much information, I'm having trouble thinking of a question.
I mean, there may be stories of such weird things.
The names at the end that we think maybe Zeke has been making a little check mark next to them. I mean, how recent date-wise do they go?
It's only the last couple hundred, so he's probably still tracking names of people who died up here on the mountain during that last big.
Yeah, but the last names that are actually recorded in the book, how recently were they recorded?
So the name.
So there's a last name in there, and we believe that there's a date next to it that we seem to be able to discern. Was it yesterday?
No.
Was it
tomorrow?
No.
Was it tomorrow? Was it? Yeah. Was it 50 years ago?
Ash Ulrich. That's weird.
And here's his name again. And back up here. And
7,000 years ago. What the hell, Ash?
It's a common name.
The names in the book, the most recent names in the book are dated 50 years ago from the ones from, and would appear to be names of the people that were involved in the assault that ostensibly destroyed the cult. And if that's true, how did they get names? Who wrote the names in the book? As you're thinking that to yourself or voicing that out loud, who wrote those? If these are the names of the people that attacked, who wrote the book down?
Harpsichord hits a clashing chord.
Hey, the clock just hit 12, Dave. Oh, why is it? Oh, it's playing multiple.
Is that a similar tune to the?
No, it's a completely different tune.
Okay.
There we go.
Good.
I don't know why it's playing multiple times, though. That's weird. Oh,
It sounds like an intro to one of the band pieces, Catherine.
I'm getting echo back. That's why I'm hearing it twice. So, Oh, I gotta stop it though because the echo back is killing me. So as this little music starts to play, there's two little doors open up on the top, left and right on this little on the towards the top of the thing, at the top of the cathedral sort of deal, and a
Cool. Did you see that, you guys?
these little doors pop open, and a pair of little automata from opposing towers on the cathedral. Actually, a pair of actual taxidermized life-size birds. So a blackbird on one side and like a cuckoo with the feathers kind of coming off its head. Each pushing a marble along the track in front of them out. And then so they come out of the door and then they turn and the track goes towards the center of the clock, and they're sort of like nudging these marbles along this track towards one another as the music is playing. And then the chime little like, the music plays while they move slow. And then they get up there close to one another, and as the little chimes start to go for the hour, the birds kind of draw back, and they each kind of peck at the marble, peck at the marble, peck at the marble. Each time that this sort of sickly chime is going off. The marbles are weird. They're like
eyeballs.
No, they're like an ant. You look because you actually sort of expect that, but no, they're glass marbles, but they're not. They're amber colored, but then you think there's like a weird bubble in them, like a weird flaw, like a bubble in them, but they're not. There's air inside, but it's air because they're not completely full. They have like an amber liquid in them. You can see it sloshing every time these birds kind of peck. And the same kind of color as as the bird's eyes, which is creepy. Aside from that, so yeah, they do their little, and this, since the clock is currently reading 12. It goes ding, ding, and does this 12 times. And then the music sort of plays a little bit longer, and the birds kind of hook with the marbles with their beaks and start to back their way along the track, dragging the marbles back toward toward their doors. What do you do? Mysterious F6.
I look over at Ash since he's the one that said, "Don't touch the clock."
I don't think Ash ever saw this happen.
He still said, "Don't touch the clock."
He still said, "Don't touch the clock." So it's interesting to me because Ash never really seen that happen.
No, I mean, just don't touch anything in here. Seems like it's good sound general advice.
Does not need to speak from experience.
100% behind. Don't touch anything in
here. Remind me again why we brought Torwin?
To poke stuff that you guys all have the common sense not to poke.
So, Baszler, you want to take a look at these chains on the floor?
I like
you
how
really need to stop phrasing it like that.
I like how you guys you don't the clock is doing this creepy ass thing, and you kind of look at Ash, and Ash is just like, so you guys want to look at this? He's not even
interested.
Not even paying any attention to that clock. Dave, do you, or does anybody else do anything before the birds wander their way back into the doors and close up?
I'm gonna pluck one of the marbles.
I was gonna say.
All right.
You guys see those birds?
You guys see those?
It's so cool.
The bird gets enraged and strikes out at you.
Okay.
Oh, here, let me bring my mic back down.
So yeah, Dave, the marble is very cold.
Is it like the liquid from the whale?
It's very clear isn't it?
What's that?
It's very cold in this cabin.
It's certainly cold, but you can actually, even through your gloves, feel the cold of this thing, like the
water from the well.
Yeah, the water from the well is certainly very cold. but it's colder than the other. It's colder than the other cold things, and it's a marble. It's a typical cat's eye size marble, but instead of being like you get the distinct impression. This thing is hollow. You can slosh the liquid around inside of it. It's about half full with this sort of dirty amber liquid. It's not quite the same viscosity as water. It seems a little bit thicker than that.
Well, hold on to it. Next time there's something gross, you can throw it at it.
Nothing could possibly go wrong with that plan.
No.
I'll put it in a pocket.
All right. And Ash was saying something to Basler about the chains on the door.
That would be the trapdoor, right?
The trapdoor, yes, on the trapdoor.
The trapdoor leading down into the earth.
I think that's the only one. Yes.
Trapdoor with the chains on it, the padlock.
Seriously indicating. Do we want to look
Shouldn't we clear this level, so to speak?
Clear this level. I love you guys.
It's a phrase I've heard adventurers use.
I just want to firmly establish what we're talking about. We're talking about picking a padlock on a trapdoor in a cabin with strange music coming from another room that we haven't looked in yet. That trapdoor?
Under the screaming moose.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up.
And we can go look at the harpsichord.
I definitely want to go look at the harpsichord.
Why would look at the room before the harpsichord first?
I'm actually Basil's going to go actually check the other doors leading out of here.
All right.
I'm just going to basically just check for traps. Do the usual safety.
Sure. This first door here is actually sort of a free swinging, like it swings both ways kind of a deal.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So
you be you, it's fine.
This room in here is sort of now I finally get it, Dave. Thank you. So this room in here is sort of like a kitchen / pantry area. Nothing too fancy. There is a window.
Oh yeah, because I want to eat in the house of the dead.
Well, there is a window here again, weirdly intact given the weather outside and everything like that, and the fact that it's been abandoned forever.
Outside is frightful.
Indeed.
But inside it's so frightful.
So 3 doors, disturbing age signal. Thank you for all that.
This place is evil, so let us go, let us go, let us go.
Basler checks. Very nice. Basler checked. All these doors are. Let me double check. The door into disturbing H sigil is closed. It doesn't seem to be. It just looks like a bedroom door or regular door. The door into I is closed. It's definitely the door that the music's coming through. The other door is also. Yeah, the other door is also about the J is ajar about halfway, and it's a basic bedroom. The door out the back of the building is partly ajar, and there's some snow that's kind of drifted in. It kind of leads out the back, and about Baz from about 10 or 15 feet away outside, because it's basically down a couple of steps and out into the snow. You can see, it looks like barefoot footprints in the snow leading away from the cabin that you can see from about, actually not that far away. Like there's no footprints on the snow that's drifted in, but right outside the house and heading off into the snow, you can see these barefoot footprints that are leading out of the house. They look relatively fresh. They haven't been snowed over or anything like that. They're starting to drift in, but they look not fresh, but more recent than
disturbingly fresh.
Not in the last couple of hours, but certainly you would think with the wind up here and just the general weather, you wouldn't be able to see footprints like this.
And why would anybody be barefoot? And are they toddling out to the little outhouse?
Doesn't seem to be an outhouse.
Past the well?
No.
Because, don't you have
well,
your outhouse by the well?
Sure, but
there's a suspicious white space by the well.
That's just a letter that I got rid of. There's no footprints coming back. So if they did go out to the outhouse, they must have had a very difficult time. Because, okay, so
maybe they'll be back soon.
So I'm going to ask Basler.
So when you said that these things look like bedrooms, are they desolate? Any beddings? Notebooks on the table?
Well, tell me,
completely stripped down. Or?
Tell me. I mean, Basler calls the doors basically clear. So tell me where you go. Like, where do you look? Because the door into J is partly ajar. H is closed, but he says that it's clear. What do you do, Dave? Since you're asking.
Well, I don't want to miss out on the harpsichord room, but I would like to check out J a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Just so I can kind of parse everybody out here. Basler, what are you doing after you have checked things out? What do you?
Do I remember coming to this face of the cabin, the side that we entered on?
You can't. No, because you would have come from. I'll ping the map here. You guys would have come from this direction, or more accurately, kind of from this direction.
Okay.
So this is the back side. This door out is like the back side of the cabin.
Well, no, I'm sorry. On the east side of the cabin.
East side. There's
on the well side of the cabin.
The well side of the cabin. There's like steps up, and then there's sort of a porch that runs along this side of the building.
Okay.
Put a rocker out there, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't go all the way around to the back. This back door is just like 2 or 3 wooden steps, now stone steps, down to the ground and then out.
Do I remember seeing 2 windows on that side? I guess I should ask the specific question.
Oh, yeah. The windows here and here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go outside and look in through the window at I.
All right. Very cool.
I bet it will be.
All right. You'll notice almost immediately as you go outside, it doesn't fade. You immediately stop hearing the harpsichord music. You go down here and look in, and this is gonna be tricky. All right, I'm gonna do Edward here first, just because. This particular half ajar door bedroom J is bed, footlocker, and a nightstand. The nightstand has a candle on it, and a sort of a leather drawstring pouch. I'm gonna say like a dice bag, although not a dice bag, but certainly should be easy enough to visualize that way.
Sure.
The footlocker is not locked and is empty. The nightstand is likewise. There's nothing in the drawer there at the nightstand or anything like that. So the only thing in there is that
the Gideons haven't made it here.
There's no Gideons, yeah. And other than this pouch, which appears to have some sort of like, there's something in it.
Does the bedding looks like it's the remains of 50-year-old bedding in a frozen environment, or?
Yes, it hasn't been. Messed with in ages. It doesn't really have dust exactly. I mean, it certainly has some, but it's not.
Right. So the pouch.
The pouch is literally the only thing in here. Is just sitting here by itself. It's got the weight of. I mean, it's not as though the thing. It's lighter than if it's got something in it. It feels like, just feeling it from the outside, something sandy, like sand or something. It's not that heavy though. So there's some sort of. It's not. There's no dice in it.
Gold dust.
Sure, gold dust. But even that would be too heavy.
Except I would expect that to be heavy.
Yeah, even that would be, especially that would be too heavy. So not sure exactly what it would be.
Well, I will cinch it and peer in.
You could take it out. Probably it's kind of dark in this room. There isn't really a window in here, but you could take it out and kind of hold it up to the light by the door, like the partially open outside door.
Yeah, I would rather take it back into the kitchen and hold it up to the light by the window.
All right. Oh, there you go.
I don't want to stand by the half-open door where there are footprints.
Sure. So
Call me crazy.
So okay. So who's in the kitchen while Dave is doing
Dinah.
Do I have anything of interest in the kitchen? Anything pinging there?
let me look. No, there's not. There's a pan. It's all basically empty. Empty cabinets, shelves, counters.
Yeah, was anyone looking at H?
Nobody has done anything with H. Basler said the door was clear, but that's it.
Okay.
He hasn't done anything with that yet.
Then being systematic, I would probably start with H.
All right. Torwin, where are you at?
I want to go to where the noise is coming
All right,
from.
I'm gonna hold off on you for a little bit because Basler's gonna get there, kind of see it first. Edward's over there. Edward, you open up Ash. Where are you?
He's over by the mysterious F signal, it looks like.
Yep. Not screwing with anything.
Are you out in the front room, or are you back here with these guys? All right, you're out in the front room. All right. So Edward, you're in. You open the thing up, and it's like this.
I'd like to avoid pouring out whatever's in there if I can see it, or if I have to, maybe just pour a little bit of it.
Okay, you really don't have to. You can open it up and see.
I'm not gonna.
So I'm gonna give you two different. So color-wise, it's like a dark lavender color. It's a powder, and I don't want to say a powder. So the consistency of cumin powder in a darkish sort of lavender with like a weird sheen to it. You can kind of push on the underside of the bag a little bit to get it to move and look at it, and it's you're pretty sure the leather's been treated in some way to make it waterproof too. You might have heard of this. You might have certainly.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether I've heard about it in some song, perhaps the Lay of the Ancient Spice Merchants.
Have you?
In the verse that talks about things that you shouldn't use as spices.
Do you have to roll for that, or is that just a thing? I can't remember how.
No, it's a thing I have to roll.
All right.
I get to roll and then ask a question.
All right, let's find out how bad this goes.
How you remember? How well you remember?
Oh.
Mark that.
Yeah, that was the part about that really good, powder candy. It's like Pop Rocks.
Another tick for Dave.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's gonna hit level 2 real quick.
I'm getting there.
Right before he dies.
I'm very quick, very very close.
I
leveled,
and then he keeled over.
Like the Sicilian.
It's probably some kind of like nobleman's snuff. The good stuff that you never have ever been able to afford. That would be your guess.
You can make him indulge himself.
What's that?
Well, fortunately, I don't take snuff.
Don't you have some sort of present me with an opportunity to indulge myself in the short run that I'll likely regret in the long run?
That's what I was saying.
Oh. Well.
We'll cut right back to you.
In the creepy cabin, do as the creepy cabiners do.
Basler, looking in on So you're looking in through the window, you see there's a chair, there's a bench at the harpsichord, and on the wall there, on the wall here, there is there is a 6 foot long by about 4 foot high painting, like framed painting on the wall. You don't see the keys on the harpsichord moving, by the way, but you can't hear it out here either, so who knows if that indicates anything. What are you doing or looking at, or what do you do?
I'll put a gloved hand against the window and see if I can feel vibrations that I would expect if sound was coming through.
You definitely don't feel anything for that, although the glass does feel cold even through your gloves.
Okay. And what's the painting from this angle that I can see?
It looks like an altar with a tall gray skeleton looming over it, with an open door leading into a dark tunnel behind the skeleton. So there's this big gray skeleton looming over this altar, in a very crisp sort of medieval style. I have an example. This isn't the painting, but it's an example of the style. So like so.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like
the good old Renaissance style.
Yeah, very crisp thing. Before the altar, you see Tiana, Torwin, Ash, and Edward. Basically depicted exactly as they appear, like dressed exactly as they are dressed right now, in front of the painting. Torwin is sipping from a goblet as light shines down on his head from above. And Tiana is holding a handful of fist-sized glass spheres with like half full of like a clearish liquid.
Like from the clock.
Yeah, but bigger. The spheres are more like a shot put size than the little marbles that you saw in the clock. But yeah, otherwise quite similar. You do not appear in the painting.
Ooh, I live.
Or do you die?
Or the exact
I'm already dead. Crap,
Is he lying on the altar? Maybe he's the skeleton.
He's not lying on the altar. No, he's not lying on the altar. Although it's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's down the dark tunnel.
What are Ash and Edward doing?
Baz.
Morbid curiosity.
Ash and Edward are simply observing in the same way. Like, look at those pictures there. Their eyes are, not directly focused on any one particular thing, and standing there sort of in the same crowded fashion. Basler, what do you do?
I'm going back in the cabin.
Okay. Torwin, you hang on for a second. When you walk back into the cabin, you immediately hear the harpsichord music, whistling in the distance. You also hear the door open, and Torwin, from somewhere else in the house, go, "Cool!" Torwin, as soon as you get into the room, as soon as you step into the room, the harpsichord music stops. So you're standing there at the door. The harpsichord is sitting over there in the corner with the bench. There's a chair, and just to your right, there's this big ornate painting, like 6 feet long and 4 feet tall, very ornate. It's got the gray skeleton and this altar, and this is the craziest thing.
Everyone, you have to come in here and see this. It's so cool.
Edward, does that happen before you decide to take a sniff of that purple powder?
Well, has anybody convinced me that I should do that?
Oh yeah, nobody's really convinced you other than the GM. And
Nobody's really hit that bond because I'm all by myself in the kitchen.
I
So
don't actually. You're looking at this thing going, God, it could be snuff. It could be. This
could be really cool stuff.
This could be.
But
or what's the line from the Avatar? This could be purple lotus, quite delicious tea, or it is the flower
Deadly
of
poison.
the white jade, Lewis,
deadly poison.
Of the white jade, which causes permanent blindness. Yeah.
Amazing tea or deadly poison?
Actually, I'm going to cover just before Torwin says all this stuff. Margie, you open up the door, and here's what you sort of catch at a glance. This is another bedroom. There's a wardrobe, a bedpan, a large pack in the corner.
Okay.
Somebody has laid a bedroll out on the bed rather than worry about there not being any bedding on it. Looks like a camping style bedroll, but laid out on top of it. There's a footlocker. On top of the footlocker, there's a sort of a journal, like a leather bound journal book. Pretty thick, but still a journal. Quill, ink, a sheathed short sword also sitting on top of there. The wardrobe's sort of half open. There's some things hanging up in there. And that's.
Are they modern or anachronistic?
No, you could walk into a I would say a traveler's supply shop or more of an outdoorsman's.
So if I went into the Glaven Goblin, I could pick these up in
yes, absolutely. Some of them look. They look in some cases certainly well used and used well, used intelligently, but certainly not. There's by no stretch of the imagination 50 or 60 years old or anything like that. This is recent stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I will give you.
They're not conveniently labeled on the inside, Joe Jones or something like that.
Well, I don't know because you get interrupted by, oh my God, guys, this is so cool. You have to come see this. So, do you come see this?
And since it's Torwin saying that, everyone is immediately concerned.
Because it could be.
I think I'll grab the journal on my way out.
Okay. Yeah, kind of snag the
just
journal.
In case something horrible causes us to run away.
All right. Dave, do you now Ash, the other question. Now, so Basler, what's the look on your face when you walk into the room? Because Ash is in that room when you walk back into the main room. What's the look on your face when you're coming back in? Or maybe you're unreadable. I don't know.
Glum frustration because I think I'm gonna have to slap some artifacts out of people's hands.
Okay. Ash, when Torwin says, "Oh my God, guys, you have to come see this," what do you do? I can't decide if you're. I don't know if you're thinking.
Sorry. Nope. I was muted. Sorry.
All right.
Ash is just kind of slumped over in the chair, and when he sees Basler come in and hears that, he just sort of looks over at him and is just like, "They're screwing with the stuff, aren't they? I told them not to screw with the stuff, and they're screwing with the stuff."
Are you just sitting there? Are you like sitting in one of the chairs or something?
Yeah.
All right. Just kind of slumped over and just waiting for. All right. All right.
Mark XP.
Oh, you're complaining?
Yeah.
Well, who's making you complain? That's what the question is. Who do you? Because you don't get XP for your flag getting hit. They do.
No. I figure that's a good one for everybody but Basler at the moment.
The person who screws up the worst, they get the XP. Okay. So.
Oh, so it's Torwin.
So
this is that cabin in the woods moment where like 4 of 6 people are like messing with the things, and the other 2 are like.
I gotta watch that. That's the best part of that movie. It's like, oh my god. Wait. So Tiana is headed that way. Edward, are you heading towards Torwin's? Oh my god, you've got to see this.
Oh yeah.
For the record, you two can still hear the harpsichord music.
The harpsichord.
Yes.
That's concerning.
Basler's heading. Well, you don't know. I mean, so you guys kind of crowd in the room. Torwin's pointing at this picture. As soon as you step into the room, you can see the harps. You don't hear the music, and you can see the harpsichord is not, like, the keys aren't moving or anything like that. So there's not any music. You could.
Oh, let's clear this floor first.
Edward, it wouldn't. Let's clear this floor first.
Everybody out.
Torwin. So Torwin gestures at the painting. So what you see is this gray skeleton sort of looming over this altar. Torwin is holding a goblet and sipping from the goblet, and it's a picture. The picture has Torwin in it, sipping from the goblet, with like sort of light shining down. It's got Tiana holding these glass globes. Edward, and Ash are sort of there and looking like. I guess Edward's probably looking up at the statue or at the skeleton, and Ash is looking like despondently at the floor. And Basler's kind of off in the corner of the picture, kind of not lurking in the shadows, but he's sort of standing off to the side a little bit, and is not nearly as he's standing on the far end of the picture from where like the beam of light is at.
Damn it!
No. You're not there, Baz. You don't see yourself in the picture. The picture is just exactly the way I described it.
I, the player, am saying that. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. But when you come in, you look and you see the picture again, and your first thought is you're just hoping that none of them freak out about the fact and get super suspicious, because people are always looking for reasons to blame you for stuff, about them being suspicious about the fact that you're not in the picture. Because that just seems like the kind of thing that's going to happen, is that people are going to see that you're not in there and then wonder why, and then wonder what the hell's going on with this picture. But first they're not going to wonder what's wrong with the picture. They're going to wonder why you're not in it. But to be clear, Tiana, Edward, Torwin, you see Basler in the picture. So you don't see anything untoward about any of this, because all except for the fact that it's an old oil painting, which is apparently depicting the way you guys appear at this moment in this old picture standing at an altar.
Everybody out.
Who says that? Was that Basler?
I'm saying that in character now. It's like, come on, everybody out. Come on.
But
wait,
no.
Interesting painting.
No, come out of the room. Come out of the room.
Evil.
Come out of the room.
What?
Well,
But
probably.
you guys!
who said, Margie? Are you eviling?
I'm just saying evil.
Oh, you're just saying evil? Is it?
You just like the word?
Yeah.
It's a bad word.
I don't know.
Well, you're being.
I'm just was assuming.
You're being depicted in this picture as holding several, like a handful of these sort of fist-sized glass globes full of like partially full of liquid. So you're not being portrayed as anything.
Well, let me just ask this.
Oh,
I
forgot. Oh my God, I forgot. Also on the altar is this book, and it's like a book bound in brass and gold, and it's got the sigil of your church on it. I forgot. And you guys, everybody sees that in every version of the picture that you're looking at. Everybody sees that.
Okay.
Just letting you know, that was a detail I had forgotten to mention. My apologies.
So you had said earlier that there was something here that was drawing my attention. Which of the items in here?
Oh, it's gone now. That sense is gone now.
Along with the music. If I step outside, does it come back?
No, but the music.
Can I hear the music when I
Yes.
step outside?
Yes. Ash, where are you? Things have gotten quiet in the back room. Or maybe they haven't. Basler's like, could you please just come out of the room? You know, I don't know how repetitive he's being about that.
Oh, yeah.
Can we please get out of the morbid and creepifying room? Baz, would you please make a...
Morbid and creepifying roll?
Let me just look at you for a second. You've got points. So okay.
I actually have a reason I want them out, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's something that you spot here. Edward is still holding this pouch in his hand, and you see like this purple, somewhat viscous purple powder in it. And I mean, I'm not going to say that he's holding a like what if it is what you think it is. It's possible he's holding enough. I mean, not enough to retire on, but you could live very comfortably for a number of years on what's in that pouch if it's what you think it is. Maybe, if you could find the right buyer. If it's what you think it is.
See, it is the high grade snuff.
One way to say it, yeah. All of you collectively could live quite comfortably for a couple of years on what's in that pouch. So just that.
Any of us besides Basler knew about it.
Just that added distraction. Oh, other people do, but they're moping in the front room. So Baz is like,
will anyone live?
What's that? Well, if Tiana doesn't
Will
want,
anyone
if Tiana doesn't want to leave, you know, Tiana's walking in, kind of stepping in and out of the room. Torwin, what are you doing? Because Basler's trying to get everybody out of here. You have this crazy thing with this painting is showing you guys, which
But the painting, you guys, look at it. It's cool.
Not the adjective I'd use, but
at a glance, Edward,
fascinating. I'm sure there's clues here.
I mean, you're not much of an art guy, but at a glance, this thing is old. Like you can see, it's an oil painting, you know, like a proper oil painting where you've got like the texture that's done up with like the thicker swirls and stuff like that. And this stuff is cracked with age. I mean, it's not cracked and dead, but it's old.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's a significantly more interesting fact than the fact that we're in it. I mean, if it was an hour old, that would be creepy.
Yes. It's a different kind of creepy, the fact that it's super old and has you in it as you are dressed at this moment.
Do I have the bag?
You still have the bag sort of half forgotten in
your
hand.
Does my figure of the painting have the bag?
No. No, it's depicting you in like your clothes and your like sort of typical gear.
Thank God. Yeah, I'd hate for it to be portraying me naked or something.
Yeah, it's not showing like, you know, the bag necessarily.
So has anybody, just out of curiosity, and I'll try and shoot people out of the creepy room with the creepy painting. Has anybody actually intentionally looked out one of the windows? Does it look the same as what we would expect it to?
I looked in, but not out.
Yeah, I mean, you could see.
Well, now you make me want to.
And you can see out through the window. I mean, if this occurs to you, Tiana, you can glance out through the window that's in eye, and everything looks normal out there. It's probably about. I mean, it's hard to tell with the gray clouds and stuff, but it's probably 3 p.m, give or take.
Okay.
You know?
So I'm going to try and move people out of the
kind of back
so interesting music room.
Back out into the kitchen area, sort of?
Yeah, the kitchen or into the room with the evil book.
That's fine. I will note that we received dire warnings not to be up here overnight. Just saying.
Technically, what he said was don't sleep.
And it's about 3 p.m.
Technically, what he said was don't sleep up here.
I'm not sleeping.
Oh, that would be no problem.
I may never sleep again.
Okay. So Bessler, you were trying to say something?
When you guys step out of the room, you can hear the harpsichord again.
Damn it.
I'm going to try harmonizing to the harpsichord and see what happens.
No.
All right.
I guess I interrupted in trying to do so.
So
With
coming on.
With everyone out, I'm going to get Edward, and I'm going to say trade gloves with me.
Trade gloves?
I'm sorry,
Trade
what?
glove.
Okay. Edward, what do you do?
Trade gloves with him. Okay, I'll pull off one of my gloves and hand it to him.
Okay, here you go. Now go in there, look at the painting, and then come out and tell everyone what you saw.
Okay. I go in.
The picture is exactly the same way, looks exactly the same as it did when you were in there last time. And Basler, for the record, it looked when you were in the room there with them, it looked exactly the same way to you that it looked when you were outside looking in through the window.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dave, what you see, you're not sure what he's getting at because when you go in there, you're seeing the picture that you saw before. Nothing has changed.
But is the glove right or the glove wrong?
Nothing has changed. It's showing him the way he was dressed when you guys first walked into the room before, when you guys first saw it.
So I come back and say, it's a painting of the five of us doing weird things, but it doesn't look any different. The gloves weren't changed.
Okay. Give me the other glove and that pouch, and I'll give you my sack of tools, and then go back in there and take a look one more time.
I gotta whisper to Bill here. Hang on. This doesn't have. You're not here for the hunting, are you, Basler? You're. Okay, Bill. Does this work?
What are you expecting to see? Are we expecting me to see?
I want to get a description from you of what you saw.
Yeah, I gave one already that it was the same. Are you expecting the painting to change for some reason?
Yes, I am.
What are the and the pouch to do with it?
The gloves are something that we brought with us. The pouch is something that's here. I want to see if that makes any difference.
Well, I wasn't able to see the pouch when I was in my own figure when I was in there.
Well, let's try it anyway and see what happens.
Oops. Sorry about that. I got some stuff that was supposed to go to Bill that didn't because...
Ignore me.
My eyes.
The second part was for you too, Bill.
Okay.
Nothing? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right. Fantastic. All right.
Anyway, so he goes in, he does the thing. You come back out. Yeah, it's exactly the same as it. I mean, it is. Nothing has changed
It
because
didn't change.
the painting has clearly been exactly the way you see it and has always been that way.
Interesting.
Well, if the painting had changed, I wouldn't be wildly surprised at this point. But it didn't. Give me back my pouch.
It's almost as if the painting was taken immediately upon your arrival. Let me go in and take a look at it myself.
He's trying real hard. Margie, sorry, Tiana. While you're going back in and looking again.
I'll follow him along because I want to make sure that something creepy doesn't happen when he's in there. I won't go in, but I'll watch from the doorway.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Where was I? The book. The book is, Margie, apparently a diary and a climbing journal.
Okay.
Of one Norquist Orv, written in the common tongue of this area. It's got diagrams and maps of routes that he's taken ascending various mountains, including this one. The most recent pages are basically a diary of him climbing up this mountain, up the most challenging faces of this mountain. 2 days ago. If you got the calendar for the local area right, yeah, probably about 2 days ago. He is a accomplished mountaineer, and as you flip through the book, also apparently a deeply embittered tax dissident. So he's not. I mean, he likes to go out in the wilderness because he really, he has to work in the city, and this is how he gets away from. And he goes on. It goes on at length. He's got as much passion for the one as he does for the other.
Were there like shoes or anything in the closet?
Yeah. There's a pair of hiking boots with like climbing spikes, kind of on the extra little things you can sort of strap onto the boots, and also a pair
crampons.
of crampons, and let me see, wardrobe, slippers, several layers of leggings, a tunic, a thick wool coat, the spiked climbing boots. The last entry in the journal reads, "The trees on this mountain seem almost agonized." Last thing he wrote.
Well, given that they are bleeding.
He said almost, so clearly he missed that little extra factoid.
So I will put the journal back where it was. I will pick up one of the boots. I want to compare it to the footprints.
I'm loving the action that I'm picturing here because Ash is just sitting on the other room. Torwin's kind of watching all this action. The other two are sort of, you guys are playing some sort of like hockey match over the puck that is that pouch full of powder. You take a step outside that door, kind of take the hiking boot, and if you took the bare foot that made that footprint and stuck it inside the hiking boot, it would absolutely fit. It's a dead match. There's a pair of slippers in there too, slippers that were in there as well. That were they were next to the bed, but clearly weren't used. So wherever Norquist went, he didn't take his stuff with him.
Okay.
Maybe he tried to sleep.
Well, the bed was made up.
Maybe he heard us. Maybe he heard us coming and ran out the back.
That would be.
Well, last note was like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I go back to the evil book and see if Norquist is in it.
Norquist is not it. The most recent dates are from like 50 years ago.
Okay.
So Norquist is not in there.
Just checking.
Wait, even with the Basler stuff?
Even with the Basler stuff.
Basler?
The names that.
Oh, Ash's stuff? No, there's no.
Ash.
There aren't any more recent names in the book, except for the stuff from like from the battles like 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah. And again, the names that Ash was looking for in Zeke's stuff were names that Zeke had written down on his big like hide where he'd written it, and he'd kind of marked it like he wasn't sure if the name should be up there. So he may not have copied those from the book. He might have just written those up there for some reason that he's not 100% sure about. Maybe they came
names of people who went up the mountain and didn't come down.
Maybe they came to him in a dream. It's hard to say. Ash, what are you doing out there?
Oh, I am waiting for somebody to come in here and tell me about a creepy painting. So I just have one of my fireball flasks. Just in case. I know it's not going to burn the painting because we tried this once already, but it might make somebody feel better.
Oh shit! Did you try that? I don't know if you actually.
Yep.
Well, I know you're set on fire. I'm not sure that it didn't work. I can't remember. Oh no, maybe it did. Maybe it didn't work. Yeah, it's all kind of hazy to you. Did it work?
Well,
Did it not
painting's
work?
here now.
Yeah. Well, you know you're not going to burn the cabin down because it's all stone. So you're just kind of waiting out here, just toying with the flask, thinking about that flask full of, like half full of a viscous fluid and other glass globes that you've encountered full of a viscous fluid. Tiana, you were going. Where were you going? Oh, Evil Book. So Tiana walks back in holding a crampon festooned hiking boot in one hand and flips open the Evil Book. With the other, kind of goes to the end. She goes, Norquidna. No, he's not in there. Walks back out again, carrying the hiking boot. Basler and
So
spheres I'm worried about around here. Oh dear.
Ooh, somebody else is in there.
I do have one more thing for the painting, though.
Okay, yeah, one more thing for the painting. I want to hear that because we're getting pretty close to it.
I may not know art, but I know art crime, forgeries, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I can spot anything unusual about the painting from a close-up. You said it started. It sounded like there was crackulature or signs of age.
Yes.
So I'd also be looking for the maker's marks or absence of that.
Okay.
Anything that would seem off. I'm still assuming this is kind of like a material thing.
All right. It doesn't have a signature on it. On the back of you do take it, actually pull it down.
no.
Sorry.
You do kind of take it down off the back of the off the wall. Take it down off the wall and kind of check the back. On the back of it, there's a rune.
I'll come into the room too.
Well, you said you were kind of following in there to see what he was doing. But yeah, you guys can get.
Well, I was watching through the doorway, but
Yeah, you can get like either end of it. So there's two runes on the back. One's sort of on the counter to the left side of. I mean, it's on the back side, but it's counter to the left side of the altar. There's one rune, and counter to the right side of the altar, there's another rune. Not 100% sure what they stand for, or anything, but they don't seem to be signatures. They seem to be something else.
Ash.
Yep.
I've got something for you.
Is it a creepy painting?
No.
Okay. I'll go to take a look at the creepy painting.
Okay. Is it a creepy painting? No. Okay, I'll go look at the creepy painting.
Say, Edward, maybe you could take a look at this as well.
absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure that I've heard something about runes on the backs of paintings. Some
You're gonna just keep trying until you
know, one more,
and the house blows up.
I may not know.
One more and the house is gonna explode.
I like Mike's identifying of the quote of the evening. I may not know art, but I know art crime. That is just perfect. Ash, you walk in. They've got the painting down off the wall. Of course, you're in it. So is everybody else. Basil's off to the side. Marchie, where are you at now? You went in, checked the name, then what did you do?
back to the bedroom.
Well, no, I actually didn't have the crampon with me going to the Evil Book. I put that back.
Right.
So I'm probably in the main cabin with Ash.
Well, Ash just walked back out because he walked back into the back of the house because I
was summoned.
He was summoned, so he walked back into the back.
Okay, then I will walk into the kitchen because I don't want us to be separated by half a house length.
Sure, that sounds good. Torwin's. Hey, Torwin, there's a cool backpack in Age. Like, it looks like some kind of, like, adventurer's backpack or some sort of, like ranger's backpack or something.
Oh, that's cool. You know you don't get points as the GM for taunting Torwin.
I know. I mean, I can still play to your type, though. I don't get XP for it, but I get certain kind of XP.
So hear Torwin mutter off in the distance. You guys, this is so cool.
Dave, roll your roll for that story thing, and Mike, or sorry, Ash, what are you doing? Oh, a 10.
I'll take a look at it. I'll obviously let Edward take a look at it first since he was here.
So, Edward, what you're running into as you start to you're looking at these various things is you're running into this weird situation where you've heard lots of stories. It's never even occurred to you to put some of these things together as something that, like, oh, this story also has something to do with this other story that I heard that was some other thing. And you start to see this stuff and you're like, now, wait a minute, what? Well, if that's also this, because you've heard the story of the Battle of the Mountain, but then you heard about these other guys who are trying to raise a god. And so there is a story. It's not really of a cult, but it's like this, like these seekers. It's like you're piecing together various pieces and they all go together. It's like the Illuminati.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. And you had heard about a group that they had ways of seeing who belonged in their secret society. Like, those who didn't belong, or those that did belong, would be invisible in mirrors, or would be visible in mirrors, and those that didn't belong would be invisible in the mirrors, and things of that nature. Or, their holy texts would that were thousands of years old would only mention them, or it kind of sounds like the same sort of thing. But yeah, there's stories of these things. If you can find, it's not the same picture that they're describing, and you've actually heard this from a couple different places. But you've heard stories of paintings that depict the people that are looking at them as they're looking at them, like for the first time, and are depicting them in this, and seems to appear differently to everybody. You've heard them, and you've heard stories of them in various large cities around the world. There's stories actually that it's part of I may be using this art term wrong. A triptych? Is that like a three-piece, three big pieces that go together into one big piece of art? I mean, the stories would seem to indicate that it's like a triptych, except it's like, because one is sort of seems to be this, one part of the picture, and then there's another one that's like, well, the background is different, but the fact of showing that no one's been able to find the third one, the central piece. Maybe this is it, and maybe that's tied to these people. It lend. I mean, maybe it's the same kind of thing, but the groups that have sprung up around these things seem to seem to pivot on the idea that, since we are depicted in this ancient thing, we must be part of a prophecy that carried forward from ancient days, and now we are depicted in this art. We must be the chosen ones because this picture shows us. And then there's, of course,
Ash, who do you see in this painting?
Who do I see in that painting?
As I was describing it before, you got Torwin drinking from the cup. You've got Edward looking up at the statue. You've got yourself kind of looking with a painting.
Just like before?
Yeah, just like, the way he describes is exactly what you're saying.
All right. Yeah, I'll describe it back.
Basil, does that sound the same as what you're seeing?
I'll relay what I saw.
So you are sort of waiting at the end for him to say, and I'm over there in the corner, and he doesn't say that part. Everything else seems to be basically the same, but he doesn't say the part where, and I'm over in the corner.
You don't see yourself over here in the corner, and I point to the corner where he should be.
Nope.
I mean, I could doodle myself in if you like, but
So that's some additional creepy. Let's have the other ones look. Tiana?
Yes.
Describe the people you see in this painting.
And she rattles it all off. It's an exact match for what you and Ash.
Is there a Bessler or no Bessler?
You are seeing Basler in there, and
okay.
I mean, basically everyone sees Basler except for Basler, and you all see your. So it's not like you don't see yourselves because I
call Torwin in.
by the way, that's how I got arrested the first time. Everybody saw me. That's
Torwin likewise sees everybody. He comes in with the backpack, which I will get to in a second, but he comes in like carrying this backpack that he found in the other room. And yeah, he quickly rattles it off and it's got everybody in it. And you all see yourself, so it's not like you just don't see yourself in the painting. It's not that. Basler doesn't see, he only sees the four of you. He's not, he is not, and it isn't like who he sees or anything like that. It literally is like, the painting, when he looks at the painting, Basler's not there. Like,
where do we see Basler in the painting?
Sorry. Say that again. Say it again, Catherine.
Where do we see Basler in the painting again?
He's sort of standing off to the side in like you're there holding this cup and you're sipping from it and there's a little light on you, and Basler is in a less illuminated part of the painting. Thematically seems totally appropriate. He's not lurking or anything. He's not sitting there with a knife out like he's going to stab a bunch of people. He's just there. I suddenly want the group shot that Mike keeps wanting to do, that Mike's working on, to be this picture, except I don't. It would be creepy.
It's like a group selfie with the skeleton, you know.
Group selfie with the skeleton. Hi. He's like got the fingers up in the background. So, yeah, all of that stuff, and you guys show the runes on the back, that kind of thing. Mike, were you going to ask questions about this?
Yes.
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 I might not be able to give you good answers on this one. I'll do my darndest.
All right. So just to match up with what Edward's already figured out, what does this do?
It's some. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't appear to be. You pull out a couple of little lenses and kind of look, and crystals, and look. It doesn't appear to be magical. It's
Wait. Multiple people are saying different things, and it's not magical. It doesn't appear magical.
It doesn't have any kind of aura around it.
It's otherworldly.
It doesn't have any aura at all.
So I know we've been joking about it, but is it evil?
It is not evil. It is not anything. It's no more evil than a chair. It's just.
Some chairs are more evil than others.
Some chairs are more. Okay, it's no more evil. It's no more evil than a typical chair.
Unlike those ones in the Jacobs.
It's not anything.
Waiting room.
It's just a painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely unremarkable except for the fact that it's old. It's probably worth a fair amount of money just for being old, and it happens to depict you guys in it, which is obviously noteworthy. But so what does this do? You're having to infer. What it does is it shows
the people looking at it.
Except that doesn't track because
unless you're Bressler.
Because when Basler looked at it, he was the only one looking at it, and he was the only one who wasn't in it.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the house, which would be my inference. So it shows the people in the house.
Right, but he doesn't see it now.
Yes, but it always appears to him the same way he first saw it.
It's now cached.
Yeah.
It's sure. So Basler's seeing what he saw when he first saw it, and that's showing. I mean, by process of elimination, it's showing the people that were in the house with it when he saw it, and he managed to look at it in a way that meant that he wasn't actually in the house when he looked at it, so he's not in it. To what? Yeah. So.
I don't know that makes any less sense than any of the other options.
It does not make less sense than any of those other options. No.
Yeah. I mean,
I like Ash.
It just doesn't. But it's going to make Occam's razor cry. But
Okay, so I want to sort of get back to moving on things. So we have an interesting puzzle here, but until we maybe get another piece, it doesn't really help us out. So, what have we learned other than the evil book has been going on for thousands of years?
The evil book has been going on.
Is there anything else?
The evil book has been going on for thousands of years.
And the creepy painting is creepy.
The creepy painting is creepy.
Anything?
It appears to.
So is there anything else?
We've not really learned anything about the clock.
Well, okay. So
don't learn anything about the clock.
A piece of it.
Let me. Thing that I don't want to avoid mentioning is the painting also, and all of you agree on this, also has what appears to be some sort of holy book of the goddess on the altar.
Is it clear enough that we can read something in there?
No, it's closed. It's the sigil on the outside cover that depicts it, and it's like a gilt.
It's like a goddess, right?
What's that?
I said not everybody. I mean, not everybody in the party are worshipers of the goddess.
No. Nope.
I mean, I would know by now since I wake them up at 6 a.m. every morning to do the stupid prayers.
Right. No, not everybody is a worshiper of the goddess, and yet they are seeing this book. And they may not, one of them, odds are they're going to all recognize the sigil because they've seen like your holy symbol or whatever, but it wouldn't have been the first, it's not like you're seeing, the object of your desire and nobody else is. They're seeing this is the thing that's on the altar. So
no, I was just trying to decide if that would be the exception for Basler, but obviously not.
Nope, Basler saw the book.
Okay.
And still sees the book. So what have you got? You got a book that tracks down everybody this thing has ever killed in the last mumble 1,000 years. You have you in this picture showing holding globes of weird liquid, which seem to look a lot like those, like the marble that Edward pulled out away from, except bigger, pulled out of the cuckoo clock. You've got creepy painting that seems to depict some sort of altar with whoever is looking at it on it, except whoever looked at whatever. The footprints that lead out of the back of the cabin seem to match the belongings in one of the bedrooms, and he apparently decided to take a naked walk outside, or at least a barefoot walk outside, relatively recently. If you were going to guess, it couldn't be more than like last night. Like it when footprints. And you have the trapdoor leading down, which your sense is now indicating is where you need to go for answers.
I have a backpack.
You have a backpack, and in the backpack, there is.
There's
3 pieces of gear.
There's a lot of stuff.
A collapsible 10-foot pole.
What it effectively.
A conceal light baton.
What it effectively gives you, guys, is a number of uses of rations and adventurer's gear and. So there's. I'm not going to get into the details of what all's in here because the adventurer's gear is sort of amorphous, but there's like, there's like silk rope, extra clothes, pickaxe, cooking pots, rations, grappling, that kind of stuff. There's also flasks of lamp oil, candles, and a lantern in there. So you've got basically 16 hours worth of light probably via the lamp and another 12 hours via the candles. Plus adventurer's gear and stuff. So you could disperse that amongst yourselves for supplies and whatnot.
Parenthetically, I'm a little bit concerned about taking someone's supplies who may be still out there.
I'm just telling you what's in there. I'm not saying that you're looting it.
I'm saying that to the folks here. It might be useful further on, but on the other hand, the guy may come back, and I would hate for him to find that all his food and climbing gear were gone.
Well, he couldn't have gone far barefoot, and you've got tracks if you want to figure out where he went.
Would you feel better if
So,
we went
I mean,
and
we-
followed the tracks really quickly?
I like how Ash is like, do you want to go figure out where he's at? Because, I mean, it's not
He's
far.
dead. I'm going to tell you that.
You can't
Do you
decide,
want to be up here overnight?
you can't
Because
you can't decide if he knows or if he's just being incredibly pessimistic.
that would have been my third bond.
Whoever lives here is a really screwed up individual. I'm not even sure they eat normal human food. So it's probably okay.
He's a mountain climber,
Yeah, he.
according to what
Yeah.
Tiana must have told us.
The creepy cabin.
Well,
Okay.
apparently, he's a very good mountain climber without any kind of Scooby sense whatsoever. What do you do? Okay, Ash, what do you do?
Let's open up the back door.
The back door's partly open anyway.
All right. Let's look at the footprints. Is it getting dark outside?
No, it's about 3:30 in the afternoon.
All right.
It doesn't. To his credit, it really doesn't take you very long to. Does anybody go with him, or who goes with him?
I'm going to go look. I will.
Torwin, you go with him.
It's an adventure.
Tiana, what do you do?
I'm going to stay here with Angry Moose.
All right.
Have fun with the
That's
moose.
a mistake.
Basler, what do you do?
Well, let's see. More fighters are going that way.
Basil, I need my gloves back, please.
Oh, your gloves.
The
Yeah.
bag and the leather bag.
All right. Let's go see where the footprints go.
Keep distracted.
Gloves and bag, please. First.
Didn't I return the gloves? Yes, you have your gloves.
But I don't have my leather bag yet.
Do I see a leather bag on him?
No, you don't. Damn. Sorry.
Oh, this bag.
Oh, this bag. You dropped this. I was just. My God, he's a Kender. No, he's not a Kender. He's not a Kender. No Kenders. God.
What's in his pocket?
What's in his pocket?
This is incredibly dangerous stuff.
All right, shh. That's relatively important information for Basler to share with Edward.
This is incredibly dangerous stuff, so you should leave it in my safekeeping.
I don't know about that second half, how important that part is. But
But it's that dangerous. I can't possibly let you hold on to it. But I promise that I won't do anything with it while we're here up on the mountain, at least.
I'll settle for that. Just don't use any of it. Don't imbibe any of it. Don't throw any of it on anyone. Don't talk to it. Just be very careful. I'm used to dealing with poison, which is why I was trying to protect you, but I understand if you think you can take care of yourself. Just
I'm pretty sure I can take care of myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Here you go.
I will look inside the bag.
It doesn't. It certainly is the exact same dose. It seems to be the same amount that. You figure if you were going to actually use it as snuff, there's probably about 10 solid doses in there.
I don't feel a particular need to use any snuff at the moment, so.
No,
And
probably.
especially with the warning from Basler, I will hold off.
All right. It takes
500 coins up your nose. I can't even think about it.
Tiana. Yeah, I also told Basler how much it was worth on the black market. Yeah. So Tiana goes out to the. Hey Tiana, when you go out to the front, wait. All the chairs are facing you when you walk into the room. You're pretty sure that's not how you left them. And the clock reads.
I'm sorry. When is this? When we go back into the moose room?
You walk back out to the moose room. Not you. When you walk into the moose room, the chairs are all facing that door that you came in. So there.
Okay.
And the clock, I mean, because you kind of check, because it's been, by your reckoning, it's been about maybe 45 minutes since you've been here, and the clock ran 12 about a half an hour ago, and it currently reads 9:30.
Okay, good to know.
Still just ticking along. It doesn't take you guys long. You track the tracks out there, and you find Norquist. Here's Norquist.
Ew.
He's out off to the side of the. Looks like he made it about 150, 200 yards. Collapsed in the snow and basically froze to death. He's wearing like a nightshirt.
So, just to reiterate, everybody, don't go to sleep here.
Okay, I think we've established that he doesn't need that stuff anymore.
His mouth, although everything is basically frozen solid on him, his mouth is a bloody mess. It looks like he was chewing on his tongue, or
Ew.
something. Yeah, something. He's like dried and frozen blood in his mouth and that sort of thing. But yeah, yeah, that's Norquist. What do you do?
Tax dissonance. What are you going to do about him?
Tax dissonance.
I'll head back to the cabin.
Okay. All right. So we'll stop there as you guys walk back in. You walk back in through the front door because it's just closer. Tiana is there. Tor and everybody else walks back in.
I'm rifling the body before we go.
Like I said, he's wearing a nightshirt. So all of his stuff, such as it is in that room. It looks like he got up in the middle of the night and ran out the back door and ran out in the snow and died. So
no, I probably can't do that. All right.
Nothing a little creepy about that.
Back inside.
You probably can't do that.
I was thinking of checking for traces of powder, poison, or anything else, but
you could do a discern realities if you want to just check and see if if you're looking for powder residue or anything like that, that's pretty straightforward. You could certainly check.
Okay. Would this be criminal activities?
Sure.
Okay, so a 9 technically.
All right. No, he does not have. Real quickly, he does not have any powder residue. He does not seem to have been a victim to the potential madness brought on by the purple lotus powder.
Good to know. All right, head back.
He's a victim of madness, but not purple lotus madness.
Right.
And we find ourselves in the room and kind of going, what's next? And all of our gazes cast down at the trap door, laced with heavy chains, which for Ash at least is a heavy dose of deja vu.
Yep, that's the last part I remember.
Bum. Bum.
Yeah. There'll be no more deja vu for Ash after this point. Or will there?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Do we want to end with somebody perhaps opening the lock in case that roll causes a complication?
Dazzler. How do you do that? Is that a thing?
He has a move for that.
I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do it. But I'm going to regret it.
I'll stand over by the door.
I'm going to preemptively say mark XP.
So it's,
Before anyone does anything, I am going to mention the whole clock thing
oh, the clock.
since they were all outside.
Yeah, don't mess with the clock.
No, the clock is showing that it's 9 hours since we were.
Just
In
don't
here
mess with the
last.
clock.
Just
Just don't mess with it.
You're so the power of not helping.
okay. So tricks of the trade, Basler would be a dex check if you're going to go through. Oh, 11. Look at that. Pick locks, approx, dislabel traps. You have to get out your heavy lock picks, your unsubtle lock picks, because it's a very heavy lock. But you're able to honestly, a child could open this. This is not even a very complicated lock. It's very impressive looking, but it's really not all that.
It's not meant for people like me.
Lock opens. Chains. Torwin eagerly drags the chains out of the way.
Bum, bum, bum.
And hang on. I'll see if there's anything of note. I say. A 50-foot deep shaft, skillfully carved in the rock, much like some other shaft that we recently examined.
The well.
What's that?
The well was also about 50 feet.
Yep. It has handholds carved into the stone. There's no ladder, but there are handholds carved at regular intervals going down. Climbing down will probably require both hands. And it, light reaches down about 10, 15 feet, and then I shouldn't have said 50 feet because you don't actually know, but it goes down, and the first thought in all your minds is like, I bet it goes down about 50 feet. So there you go. That's where we'll stop, looking down this this well, or not well, down this shaft with the handholds.
All right. Good adventure, everybody. Let's meet back next year.
We'll come back next year. Coincidence? I think not. I like that. Very nice. All right.